I'm just asking for a friend here, but is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry lying about King Charles seeing Archie and Lilibet? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much got me eye, and oh my goodness, yeah. Let's jump into this one, shall we, because this article really caught my eye here, and it's saying essentially that King Charles is not happy, not content with just seeing Archie and Lilibet over video calls, and apparently is keener than ever to actually build a relationship with his grandchildren, sources claim. Now, they're essentially turning around and saying, yeah, he's still undergoing cancer treatment since February, but there's royal sources that are telling the Mirror that King Charles is keener than ever to build a relationship with Archie and Lilibet, that he's only met them a handful of times since they were born, and he wants to make up for lost time, given the long-running fallout he has with Hazard and Megsy, right? And everything that's, going on there. Now, sources are telling the media that King Charles, who managed to make it to the D-Day celebrations last week, sent Lilibet a heartfelt gift and card in celebration of her birthday. A source saying, quote, the king is absolutely committed to being present in all of his grandchildren's lives. He values family above everything, and whatever the course of his relationship with his son, he would never be content with just seeing his grandchildren on the odd video call. Now, a lot of people are calling BS on this, right? We have on Twitter here at Mystify turning around and saying King Charles hasn't had any video calls or any calls with the Duke and Duchess of Disinformation. When will the BS stop? Everyone knows there's no communication between the king and the Harkles. Now, a lot of this comes down to the notion that King Charles doesn't have a mobile phone whatsoever. So him literally being on a phone call, let's say, to Hazard and Megsy makes zero sense. And this is the thing, right? It seems to be true that King Charles does not have a mobile phone whatsoever, right? Now, this is from Hello Magazine, a very reputable source, saying that, look, all the staff within each royal home, their mobile phones must be switched off unless they're in a desk job that requires them to use one. However, it's reported that King Charles does not have to adhere to this rule because he doesn't have a mobile phone in the first place. That a major hint at King Charles's dislike for mobiles was when his security officer instructed members of the public to put their phones away before greeting the monarch. Then saying perhaps His Majesty prefers living in the present. So, yeah, we can certainly go on off of that and say, yeah, there would be zero communication between King Charles and Megsy and Hazard, at least by telephone, because he doesn't have a mobile phone to begin with, right? Reportedly, as per Hello Magazine. However, video calling is something slightly different. And we actually do know that King Charles does partake in video calls. Now, this was reported beginning of March of this year, that even though, King Charles is still undergoing treatment at the moment, he's still working hard, and called his good friend, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. But guess what? He video called him. Here is the monarch, here King Charles, literally on a video call with Justin Trudeau. So it is plausible, okay, that even though, yes, there's zero communication between King Charles, Hazard and Megsy by telephone because he doesn't have a mobile phone, it is plausible that potentially he is video calling them, right? Particularly Archie and Lilibet. Now, I say particularly Archie and Lilibet because I do agree with Mystify that there's zero communication between King Charles, Hazard and Megsy, because when Hazard was in the UK last month for the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games, King Charles had other priorities. His diary was full and couldn't meet up with Hazard whatsoever. So, yeah, I do agree with Mystify that, yes, there's zero communication between King Charles, Hazard, and Megxit, but when it comes to the children, that's a different kettle of fish. And it is quite plausible that King Charles could be video calling Lilibet and Archie, especially when we do know that King Charles can and does video call. However, I have another question that's a little bit more important and actually much scarier to ask, which is, how does the media know about this in the first place? How does the media know that King Charles is not content with seeing Archie and Lilibet over video calls and is keener than ever to build a relationship with his grandchildren? Now, they're turning around and saying royal sources, right? But for Hazard and Meg's penchant to actually make themselves to be more royal than they actually are, could these royal sources have actually come from Megxit and Hazard? I'm just asking for a friend here. I'm just asking for a friend. Could it be that they're pushing through this media, through this PR, King Charles to actually make more contact with them, to actually try and force King Charles's hand to make more contact with them, right? Being like, well, you know, he's not content with seeing Archie and Lilibet over video calls. He's keener than ever to build a relationship with Archie and Lilibet. Could they be trying to force his hand to try and build bridges with them rather than the other way around, right? Could they try to be forcing his hand to actually re-engage with Hazard and Megxit so that then they have more content for their next Netflix number, whatever it might be, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I have a more important and actually more scarier question to ask about this. Because, again, how do the media know that King Charles is not content with seeing Archie and Lilibet over video calls and is keener than ever to build a relationship? How do they know that King Charles is in contact with Archie and Lilibet via video calls? It's way too specific. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Royal Palace is not going to be leaking this out. I see no reason as to why they would. I see every reason as to why, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Team Sussex would, though. I definitely do. So, in answer to the question of this video, is Megxit and Hazard lying about King Charles's contact with Archie and Lilibet? Maybe not, because there is evidence that King Charles does use video calls as a method of communication. However, is there a bigger game afoot here? And has this story been leaked by their side, by Team Sussex, to try and force King Charles's hand? If so, I hope King Charles doesn't take the bait and he stands firm with zero communication with Hazard and Megxit. Zero communication with Hazard and Megxit. All the communication he wants with Archie and Lilibet, fair enough. They're his grandkids. I get that. But zero communication with Hazard and Megxit. What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course, there's going to be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe, because I'll be honest with you, help us now get to 1 million so we can also get that gold play button right there and hopefully cause a Meghan Markle meltdown on Instagram. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. Also, as well, if you've got some very strong opinions about all of this, and I bet you do, then make sure you send me a super thanks. It's just below this video right here. We can have a conversation about this because it does guarantee a response from me. And until the next time, you guys, later.